Strelok went for it. It definitely worked out for him. And now he's going to be working on securing his third, which is not going to be too much after Sen's. His only just finished. So he's going to be keeping up really well with the Zerg and not letting him keep that one base ahead like you normally like to see the Zerg player.
Now Sen has not opted for Aspire. I think the late timing of things has made him go Roaches instead. Doesn't want to deal with the Mass Thor counter Mutalisk. That really makes sense. It's too late to try and leverage early Mutas. And Strelok is moving out now, going to the middle. Creep expansion a little bit slow again because of that contain. And no detector yet. There's the scan, taking out those creep tumors and establishing himself in the middle. This is what the Terran player needs to do on this map, is just take the center, deny the Zerg additional expansions, and you can use your siege tanks with scans and flying units to fire on units on the high ground. So this is a nice push by Strelok.
Yeah, and Sen really just does not have the forces to stop this. He is moving his Roaches around behind to sort of trap him in, but he doesn't have enough units in the front to really get a good pincer. Oh no! Strelok unsieges right as the Roaches move in. It's going to give him the only opportunity to do a ton of damage. And then he unsieges again. This entire army is getting wiped out by the fact that Strelok just unsieged there. Oh my god, the timing by Sen, that was just perfect.
Yeah, very, very well done. The Roach flank initially did not look like it was going to go very well, but he caught all those siege tanks out of position, and what looked like Strelok's game, no problem, is now once again very close. The drone difference now only 10. Army size strongly in favor of Sen. He is getting harassed a little bit, but just because of that attack, he's now in a great spot. He might want to consider assaulting this third base of Strelok, that second expansion with the Planetary Fortress. Tough to do, but the Lings and the Roaches are on the way.
Yeah, so we're going to see him poke in here. He's going to see the Planetary Fortress, and he's probably going to back off immediately, or try and get the Roaches in behind the mineral line and shut down mining for a little while. But if you go for that and you get trapped back there, it's not so good. So probably once he sees this, he might back off. Actually, he's going for it. No, there he goes. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. And he's got to be really careful about his positioning here. Always going to try and just flat out take it down before Strelok can react. But Strelok is watching for that. He is going to be able to keep repairing this Planetary Fortress. There aren't a whole lot of Roaches here. Oh, is he going to barely get it? Oh, it goes down. I thought he would probably be able to save that, but Sen was using a good portion of his Roaches to kill the SCVs to prevent the repair rate, and it actually worked out for him. So Sen, who just a moment ago looked like he was in a ton of trouble this game and it might even be over, is now in a somewhat dominant position.
Now, meanwhile, inside Sen's base, the Hellions have dropped once again, caught those main drones, and a ton of them going down. They do a nice job right now surrounding the Hellions themselves, while the Roaches and Queens pick them apart, and the Hellions are toast. However, once again, the damage is done 48 over 41. And another push from Mouse Strelok from the top, assaulting that third base of Sen. Siege tanks once again sieging up, but unfortunately not enough other units, and Strelok throwing away a ton of siege tanks.
Yeah, and he didn't manage to get those sieged up fast enough. Sen did see it coming. He got those Roaches right into melee range right as they're sieging up, so they weren't able to get that nice number of shots off before the Roaches can get in. He does have good creep coverage here as well, so they're able to run in extremely quickly onto those siege tanks. Looks like he's once again going to deny the third base here by Strelok. And Sen's just taking complete control of this game. He's now dropping an Infestation Pit and a Hydralisk Den, getting Burrow. He's just teching up, going to be able to cover his bases, move into late game Zerg, and just continue to make it really tough on Strelok. There goes all of his tanks again, about the third time that's happened, and he forces a cancel on the third base. And that's a huge deal. The third base is just so important for Terran players. If you look at his natural, he's got so many mules there, and he's close to mining it out. So this is not looking good for Strelok in any sense of the word.
Yeah, too many tanks being thrown away by Strelok on average. He just doesn't have other units other than tanks to soak up hits. Siege tanks, despite being tanks, incredibly squishy. He needs Hellions, he needs Marines, he needs Marauders, and they just aren't there. He does have a great defensible position, but while he sits back, his third is denied. Already, Sen has taken a third expansion, now has a fourth base at the gold. Unfortunately, unable to connect it with creep yet. That's the one thing going for Strelok, is the creep is not so hot. But what was once a pretty bad income has now switched 52 over 39 in favor of Sen. So Sen in a commanding position, and it looks like he's going to be taking this game 2-0. And I don't really see what Strelok can do to turn it around. It's going to take a heck of a mistake from Sen or a brilliant play from Strelok.
Yeah, and at this point, it's just really tough. There's so many roaches on the field. If you look at it, there are 24 roaches, 25 zerglings, and there's a single hydralisk that popped out to join the party. I'm not sure what that's about. Okay, there we go. He does have some friends on the way. So he's just going to have a really good unit composition here. Throw in a couple of banelings as well. Be able to take out those Hellions, and he'd be pretty much golden. Strelok is pretty much setting up for his last chance. A very nice slow push through the middle of the map, except he unsieges everything. I thought he was just going to leapfrog through the middle of the map because tanks are really good at doing that. Looks like he just wants to try and secure this third base, but he doesn't have any anti-air, and the Overlord's dropping creep. So this command center does not look like it's going to get there in time to land. Yep, the creep is under it. So
and
that
a Thor and a
expansion
Viking
is
on the
denied.
way, just like you said. Strelok clearly thinking the same as you. Unfortunately, I can see where this is going. A Spire going down. Overlord Ventral Sacks on the way. So Sen is looking to finish this game. He knows he has a strong advantage, and this is probably the last push by Strelok coming in on the natural of Sen.
Yeah, so Sen is moving in, and that Infestor doesn't really do much. Drops a couple of infested Terrans. There's so many units by Sen. More of them flooding in from the hatcheries. You can just see Zerglings running in from every direction. He's going to be able to clean this up with a lot of losses, but Strelok just doesn't have the capability to replace these units at this point. So that's probably going to be it. Strelok appears to be trying to stay in it with long distance mining at the moment, but that's not going to last for very long.
He is finally going to get that third base back down. The Overlord killed by that lone Viking, but his tanks wiped out because of that push. Did not work. He killed a few drones, but there is a gold base, and while it is being harassed, really it's just the last, death twitches from Strelok, just trying to pull something out of nothing. We just saw in that last battle, both armies destroyed, but the Zerg army just replenished in mere seconds, which is the real threat of Zerg on this many bases. They can just rebuild way too darn quick, and Terran players are going to have a hard time catching up.
Yeah, so there are a lot of Mutalisks popping out right now for Sen. That's going to allow him against pretty much a single Thor for anti-air to just completely dominate the forces that are left from Strelok and probably force a good game here. I'm really worried about the next game, though, because that one, mistake of losing your army by unsieging there, that's the type of thing that really gets to a player's head. So we'll have to see how he plays in the next game, because it does seem as if Sen pretty much has this locked down at this point. He did get a planetary fortress up at this third base, and he's trying valiantly to get back in this game. But at this point, Sen's just going to have to make a pretty huge mistake for that to happen.
Strelok is building a few more barracks, which is really what he's been missing this whole game. Hasn't been building enough Hellions to wall off for his siege tanks, and barracks would provide him with what he needs. But there are the Mutalisks in, using their magic box method, not taking any AoE from that Thor. The Thor goes down, and Strelok completely out of any anti-air, and there it is, GG from Strelok. As you said, a valiant effort, but he is going down in game 2. Again, well played by Sen, but I do want to emphasize, and you mentioned that Strelok's going to have a hard time catching up because he's a bit demoralized. Without a doubt, he is, but he's a strong player. Strelok has shown us time and time again that he is a capable player. A few mistakes, but everyone makes mistakes, so I don't think it's going to be over quite yet.